Yo, what's up, people? It's your boy, I'm Christy Don One, and I am back with another video. I'm gonna tell you guys the scoop, and I'm gonna tell you guys why there's tension between Monique versus Lee Daniels, Tyler Perry, and Oprah Winfrey. And this beef has been going down for the past 3 years. All right. Now, this really started when they did the project of Precious. All right. Now, before we get into it, I have to state this for the record. Monique is a very beautiful African American woman. She's beautiful inside and out. She carries her emotions on her sleeve. She is very opinionated. All right. If there's an issue or a topic out there and she has passion for it, she is going to tell you what she feels. Okay. That's the type of individual Monique is. All right. Now, this goes back to Precious. Now, Monique won an Oscar for her role in Precious, okay? And she gave a very powerful and emotional, spiritual speech. And she not only talked about the past for African American women in Hollywood, but the present as well as the future. Gave a very powerful, emotional speech. I wish I can play the video for you, but you guys know how YouTube gets down. All right. Okay. So after that, this is more to the extent of Monique and Lee Daniels. Those two individuals were conversating with one another about promoting Precious, the movie, you know, doing this promotional tour. Now, at this particular time, Monique was a very popular woman, okay? She had a lot of things stirring in the pot. She had her nighttime talk show, and she also was a comedian, as well as she had a family. She started a family as well as a hubby, okay? Now, a very busy woman. So, when Lee Daniels when Lee Daniels and Monique was discussing about promoting the movie, Monique was under the impression of she had no issue doing it, but her mindset was she should get compensated for this. She should get paid for this, okay? So Lee Daniels felt like she should do this on her own terms. She should do this not for a paycheck, but to just get the word out for the Precious movie. It was a very powerful movie that I felt like it was already hitting the mainstream, but Lee Daniels and Tyler Perry, as well as Oprah, was thinking on a bigger aspect of getting this movie promoted in Hollywood, okay? Now, let's talk about and define to you guys Hollywood. What is the Hollywood world, okay? The Hollywood world is the most influenced, powerful people control and run Hollywood, and those individuals happen to be Caucasians, okay? It's very hard to get African American projects in film to not only get financially backing, but also get the powers that be to greenlight these projects, okay? I know a lot of people looking at it as today, well, Oprah is a very wealthy woman, okay? She's also very influenced. The same can be said for Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry is a very powerful man. He has influence. But when you're talking about Hollywood, Hollywood has bigger influence. Hollywood is wealthier than those two individuals combined, okay? Hollywood has two aspects in their vision. They have the influence of persuasion, politics. You scratch my back and I scratch your back. And then you have the other side of Hollywood that we all cater and we all see is the glitz and glamour, the beautiful actresses, the special effects, the actors, things of that nature, okay? We see the front aspect of Hollywood. There's a lot of stuff in the background we just don't see. Now, when Monique got the Oscar, Monique was also had the impression of, and she noticed this with other actresses when they win the Oscar, like Jennifer Garner, when she did $1 Million Baby. Not only she got an Oscar for that, but she also got recognition and better roles with better pay. Your salary just goes through the roof. All right. So Monique was thinking, okay, well, this could happen to me too. Okay. Now, when she presented that to Lee Daniels, that's where the disconnect comes from. Okay. Lee Daniels was on the standpoint of, well, you have to play ball in Hollywood, okay? Just like the rest of us. You know, there are barriers set in place for a Lee Daniels, for a Tyler Perry, for a Oprah Winfrey, and these barriers are grandfathered to you, okay? This is how pretty much it works in Hollywood. Now, I remember the interview clearly, okay? Monique's first interview, she was talking about after the Project Precious and after she got the Oscar, she noticed that she was getting roles, but it was pretty much the same typecasting role that an African-American woman in Hollywood always get. And Monique had the impression of, okay, well, why you guys are not offering me the same roles like you did for Jennifer Garner. Jennifer Garner is not typecast, okay? Jennifer Garner gets better roles with better salary. How come I can't get those type of roles? That's what Monique was talking about when she did that first interview. I apologize for all the noise in the background, okay? So that's what her aspect was in the first interview, all right? Now, her position changed later on when she did the CNN interview, and she talked about, well, I'm getting the roles, but I'm not getting the money, okay? They're giving me the roles, but they're not giving me the money, okay? They're kind of lowballing me on the money, and she had the impression, and she felt that Tyler Perry, Lee Daniels, and Oprah Winfrey didn't have her back, okay? Didn't give her any support on not only getting the roles, but making sure that the salary was right, okay? Now, she also felt like this is their way of being petty with her, because when they asked her to do the promotional tour for Precious, she denied it because they wasn't going to give her, money for it. They wasn't going to compensate her for that, okay? And like I said, at that particular time, Monique was a very busy gal with the talk show as well as her family, and she also does stand-up, okay? That's the roots of Monique. She's a stand-up comedian, okay? Monique is the pure definition of an Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy does stand up just like Monique. She is so multi-talented, all right? She's the type of talent that is, not appreciated in Hollywood, okay? But even Eddie Murphy had to play ball in Hollywood. Now, excuse me 1 second. My throat is cracking. Okay, all right. So, where was I? Yeah. So, that's where the disconnect and the discord comes from Monique and Lee Daniels, okay? As well as Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry. Now, to be fair, Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry hasn't spoke on the matter. It's basically Monique and Lee Daniels, okay? And then you got the aspect of when Lee Daniels created Empire and the Cookie character was developed, Monique had the impression and she assumed that that character was going to be her character. Now, eventually they gave the role to another beautiful, drop dead gorgeous African-American woman, and she nailed that role. Okay. Let's be fair here. All right. Even if she had if she had an invitation to audition for the role, all right, that is a perfect person other than Monique to do the Cookie character. It's not like they gave the character to some unnamed actress who just started and just doesn't have the credentials or the background. Okay, they gave it to a woman that, you know, she's doing her thing. And to be fair, I think that's why Empire is hugely successful now on Fox. Okay, now if the roles were reversed and Monique ended up with that role, who knows? Will Empire have the same flair? Would it still have the same success like it's riding on today? One would never know. Okay, so that's where it gets tricky with her and Lee Daniels. Their relationship fizzled after that. Their business relationship, they didn't have a personal relationship. They were more about business than friends or anything else. And Monique showed texts and phone conversations when they were talking about the Empire role, and she felt like Lee Daniels was catering that role for her, and he basically gave that role to I forgot the actress's name, gave it to her, and she felt like that was unfair. Okay, and Lee Daniels, in his interview, basically he says it's all about show business. Okay, and that's what Hollywood is. Okay, it's more about politicking. It's more about rubbing elbows with other people in that lane, and it's just the way it is in Hollywood. Hollywood has been this way since day one. Okay, and that's where even to this day, 3 years later, when Monique did her stand-up, that video went viral and it blew up like a dumpster fire, and that's why they still have the issues today. Nothing has been resolved. It seems like Monique has not even talked to Lee Daniels and vice versa. I think Tyler Perry and Oprah has pretty much moved on. They never really discussed the matter internal. Okay, so it's basically Monique and Lee Daniels, and Lee Daniels is pretty much fading from the conversation. Ever since he done that interview, he hasn't even talked about it, to this day. Monique is still carrying it on. Okay, now I say all that to say this. When you're African American, you knew when you came out the womb of your mother that we have barriers in front of us. We have obstacles in front of us, okay? And fair or not fair, okay? We knew that when we was a baby till now. And these obstacles are going to always appear for us, okay? And it really doesn't matter what level of business you enter in, these obstacles are going to still be in your place. Okay, with Monique, as for her not only being an African American woman and also being opinionated, and she was not the type of individual that would play ball to play ball. Okay, she had a lot of hurdles in front of her. All right. Monique felt like those hurdles were unnecessary and they should not have been there from the start. And she also felt like if Tyler Perry and Lee Daniels and Oprah Winfrey really had her back, those obstacles would never been in front of her. But the problem with that aspect is they too had obstacles. Okay. Like I said earlier, Oprah Winfrey was a rich, wealthy person, not a witch, but a rich, wealthy person with influence. And it took her a long time to connect with Hollywood. Okay. And finally, Hollywood green-lighted something that she felt passionate about. Okay, so even the bigger name Oprah Winfrey had to rub elbows with Hollywood. The same could be said for Tyler Perry. Now, at that particular time, Tyler Perry wasn't the same Tyler Perry that we have today, but even to that standpoint, he also had to play the game if he wanted to continue playing the game. Okay, so Monique was not even about that life. She was not about to do that. Okay, so I feel like still to this day she's bitter. Okay, bitter, and she may be a little petty, but it is what it is. And unfortunately, even though I co-signed with her, I just felt like she should have understand that, you know, there are a lot of barriers in front of us that we have to overcome. Okay, and sometimes we have to work a little bit harder. Sometimes we got to hustle a little bit harder. Sometimes we got to do more. All right, sometimes we got to do more to the extent that we may not get the recognition for this, or we may not even get paid for this. You know, the street may be a lot easier for a Jennifer Garner than a Monique. All right, maybe Monique had to take a lot of several blocked highways and back streets and all this, that, and the third to get to the destination that she was going to or wanted to be desired for. And an individual like Jennifer Garner can just go straight to point A to point B with no problem and no hesitation. All right, let's just face reality. Okay, African Americans in Hollywood have to struggle and strive and do twice as much work and really don't get compensated the way they should be, and really not get recognized for all the contributions they do. It's just the way it is, and unfortunately it's going to be this way for a long period of time. Now, after Precious, she really hasn't done any type of work in Hollywood. Okay, and Hollywood is that type of beast where if you have an issue with Hollywood makes sure it's gonna be hard for you to get a job in that market, in that field. There's a lot of actors and actresses of different nationalities. It really doesn't matter if they're white, black, whatever. Okay, that didn't play ball with Hollywood, that they don't have jobs right now. Okay, and it's just the way it is. Okay, you know, I feel sorry for Monique. I wish if we can go back into time, she may done things or say things a little bit different, and maybe her and Lee Daniels' business relationship will be better because of that. And maybe her connection with Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry will be a lot better than what it is today. But it is what it is. I mean, I don't understand why we're having this conversation even to this day. I know she did the stand-up show and she talked about it, and that blew up, but everyone knew what the outcome was. And now she looks like, and this is not my opinion, this is what people are saying on social media, she looked like a very pissed off, bitter woman that didn't get her way. And I think the best thing for Monique to do is just drop this and just simply move on. You know, I thought she did, you know, after the stand-up. I don't know her personally. She probably has dropped it and moved on. And we're just going to have to wait and see if Monique gets another opportunity for another role in Hollywood. But I highly doubt it, because Hollywood is stubborn, and all they're going to remember is what she said at that show and what she's been saying for the past couple of years. Okay, it always been that way. Okay, but guys, tell me what you think out there. Rate, comment, subscribe. It's your boy, I'm Christy Don 1, and I am out. Peace.